Hey, welcome back to Franly Advice, the show where I am your unofficial business mentor. And one day soon, you'll probably get the nerve to hire me. But thank you for watching from afar. And I'm so happy that you continue to listen and that you feel safe enough to get the advice that I'm giving you and use it to actually grow a virtual assistant business or a done for you service that actually works for you and not against you. Today, we're talking about something real: how to build a done for you service that doesn't just survive an economic downturn, but actually thrives even when the economy is looking a little shaky quaky. So, spoiler alert, this might be your moment. I know that sounds crazy to think that in this kind of season that you would be the one who would actually thrive and to like feel like it's such a disservice to those of us who are the people who are being hurt in the season. We need some thrivers because the thrivers can take care of those who aren't able to make it. So for me, like, I'll get into my story later about like what happened during the 2020 pandemic, but it was really crucial for me to be able to be like the point for my family to turn to and say like, hey Fran, can I borrow a couple $100 right now? And it was nice to be the lender in that season and to be helpful when so many things were just not going the way a lot of us planned. So, really quick, if you are a VA or you're pivoting into done for you service providing and you need support and you want help to go step by step for you specifically, I am still open for one-on-one coaching. I one-on-one coach baby VAs for 3 months for $9.97. So hop on the bandwagon while it's still around. If you would like to, if you're interested in this offer, at the end of this, go to the link in the show notes and just click on booking a one-on-one clarity call, which is just a sales call with me, and we'll talk through the different ways I can help you build this business in this economy. So here's like my story. Let me take you back. The year is 2020. Yep, the year of the pandemic. The year is 2020. And I had quit my job in 2019, like the latter half of 2019. And I was like, 2020 is going to be my year, as most people said. And I was thinking my year in the way of like going to conferences, being on stages. Like I was like, oh, I've been running my podcast since the end of 2017. I'm ready to like actually take this show on the road and like start speaking at events, start meeting people in person, start really like just like being a business owner in the streets as well as in my house. But then we go on like our anniversary trip in February of 2020. We get back and the announcement of like COVID-19 spreading throughout the earth comes and we go on lockdown. And I immediately was like, oh my God, is this going to work? Did I just do the dumbest thing in my life? Not only did I have the smartest plan that could have happened for me in 2020, my business tripled in size and in income during a very uncertain period, a very like negative economy. And it was just because people were craving connection. I was filling a gap where people couldn't go to events. They couldn't network in person. They couldn't like meet up at a coffee shop to talk about business deals. They couldn't advertise the way they were used to from before, in the before times, as I like to call it, before 2020. They had to find a new way to build their brand and their voice online in their communities. And podcasting was a centerpiece for so many small businesses during the pandemic because it kept their communities connected to them and their purpose. And it also allowed them to be like the thought leader they needed to be. It was the perfect storm. It was like podcasting's biggest boom. It hasn't gone backwards since then. It's still on an upward trajectory, but it still hasn't seen as big a spike as it did in 2020 now. But it was like the perfect time to run and start a podcast management agency. So what looked like crisis to most people was growth for me, which I think about like how funny, as I always say, God is. We step into these seasons where we're just like, oh my God, Like nothing's going right. Nothing is for me. I thought you called me here in this season, God. And you start to like feel shame around like listening to God. You feel disappointed in not seeing the benefits of quote unquote walking in your purpose. And God is like, wait a minute, before you start all that drama, I'm going to take you to the right place and show you why I sent you this way. Y'all know me. I'll get a little preachy every now and then. So right now might be some people's harvest season, which sounds crazy, but you have already been doing the work. You've put the work in to reap the harvest, and now is the time for you to jump in. It feels so opposite and counter to what everything is going on around you is saying. But if you lean in and really trust what you know about yourself and your best next steps, you probably are right about the done for you service that you want to start. And I'm going to clue you into like how you know. So take a second. What niche do you see right now that is quietly growing and like is currently slept on, but you know is really going to be the thing that businesses need, even with tighter budgets at the moment? Write that down right now. And as we go through the episode, you can probably prove even more to yourself that you were correct and you're going in the right direction. All right, let's get into it. Why done for you services still win even with AI? AI has arrived. She is a moment. She is a fabulous assistant. She is amazing for what she does, right? So AI helps me write emails. I do like large brain dumps into chat gpt and just say like the feelings I have and how I want to state it in an email. It just reorganizes it for me in a very like clean way that I probably couldn't have done. Then of course I have to go back and edit some things, but she's like writing emails. She's writing captions for people on Instagram. She's telling people what's trending on Instagram. She can do voice covers. I don't always love them, but you know what she can't do? She can't make real-time decisions. And I know a lot of people try to talk to chat GPT like she's real. Like you see the posts going around of people who are like, I told chat GPT to explain like what I do as my drunk bestie. And like it's cute or whatever, but we'd already fed her some information to let her know like this is what my business does. Can you explain it to other people as a drunk girling? So she can't make real-time decisions. She can't relationship build, and she can't project manage. And there's no strategic execution from ChatGPT. Businesses are cutting back, yes, on hiring full-time employees, hiring people for like general admin positions that ChatGPT can fill, which means they're going to have to outsource some of the things that Chat can't do. And they're going to have to outsource things that they've let people go for. Sometimes people just don't want to pay the cost of a full-time employee, meaning like covering their health insurance, giving them paid time off. So like when you have a done for you service provider, you're usually working in like a package base and you don't really have to pay for their vacation time. It's already taken care of. You're just paying for the deliverables. You're not actually paying for their time. So if you're a done for you service provider who can slide in and make this thing happen right now and make things easier for them, it is your time to shine, baby. So let me give you another mini case study. So you heard about me and my podcast management agency during the pandemic. Another friend of mine rose to like shine during the pandemic, and she actually is an IO psychologist, and she understood how to make courses for creators. So what she would do is she would actually take the content someone had and turn it into like a fully fledged course based on psychology, understanding how the human mind can conceptualize and understand information and process it in real time and then actually take action. So she would take like your idea. We did mine with like podcasting. I was teaching people how to podcast, which I sold that course to someone else. If you ever want to take that course, I can tell you where to get it. I have an affiliate link for the program. I can send you right over there. But she would take all of the information that you understood and knew as like the resident expert in that field. So I like basically brain dumped her everything and was like, okay, this is what it takes to run a podcast. This is how I manage them for all my clients and for myself. This is how I promote it and market it. This is also what I do to X, Y, and Z, et cetera, et cetera. So then she takes all of that and she says, okay, the order you're thinking about doing it doesn't make sense. And then she would rearrange it, tell me like exactly what I needed to record for course videos. I was going to make like 8,000 videos. She was like, you really only need 5. And I was like, no way. And she like wrote out the scripts of why I only needed 5, etc. So we get all of that done, and people actually do fabulous in the podcasting course, and they call it their favorite version because someone who is a psychologist put it together. But her business blew up. Like, I remember 2 of my friends during the pandemic, they had like crazy cash months. Like, I had my couple 50K months here and there, but they would have like 100K months. And she was one of them. And this is what I mean by identifying what people need. So during the pandemic, people were trying to learn new things. And so anyone who had a business was trying to teach their audience how to do things. You saw a lot of how to YouTubes come out. You saw a lot of education around like building a business. But this was like prime time working with her. She offered a solution that people couldn't skip because they saw a need for their audience. She saw the need they had for their audience and said, actually, my whole team will build this course for you and help you do the funnels, the marketing materials, and like get you through like how to build the entire course from A to Z. I'm giving you examples as we go of like things that filled in gaps during 2020. So you'll probably see a theme and you'll be like, okay, she might be onto something. Okay, let's talk about the 3 things you need to build a winning business in a down economy. These are not like, this is an exhaustive list. This is, anytime I give you a list, it's never like all of the possibilities and you only need to focus on these. But these 3 will highly indicate to you if you are building a winning business in a down economy. So, number 1, you want to make sure this solves an essential problem for a business owner. If your service is just a nice to have, it's not something somebody's going to hire you for while the economy is on fire and they're trying to save more money than ever. It's one of those things that's just going to get cut. If it's just like, oh, it would be so nice to have someone like write every single one of my emails, but ChatGPT is right there and the girl is like, what, $40 a year? I'm scratching that right now because it's just a nice to have. You need to be solving a problem that connects directly to your client's revenue. Don't just sell saving time anymore. That's cute. That was amazing in like the 2018 era where we were just all like, I save you time by. No, your like version of an I help statement on Instagram right now should speak to a business problem that they cannot resolve themselves and they cannot survive in business without addressing it. It needs to be like mission critical at this point. So sell growing their audience because that is mission critical right now. We need more leads, and the biggest way to get leads is a bigger audience. You just need more fish in the sea for you to catch your one. And increasing their conversion rate. So that audience that you grow, how else can we actually make sure we get more people on board with joining your business? And then keeping customers longer, because lifetime revenue, chef's kiss. It is a dream for every business owner. And then you need to be mission critical, as I said, not optional. This cannot be optional to your business. So if I'm thinking about like me one-on-one coaching people who want to start a virtual assistant business, for some people, working with me is no longer optional because they've been let go by the government. Who knew the stable government job that all the Black mamas told us, get you a good stable government job, would just up and leave one day, right? Mine is also mission critical because a lot of people need to side hustle right now. Building a virtual assistant business is the easiest way to side hustle to make more income to cover inflated costs. And then the last reason my business still becomes mission critical to people is because it is their biggest pathway to building their own secure wealth. So instead of relying on an income from a 9 to 5 that people are finding inconsistent, I show up and show you like you can build wealth on your own. Wealth is one of those things. If you look at like our hierarchy of needs, wealth is always like right after food, shelter, and water. You see like wealth, relationships, and there's one other that I can't remember right now, but you see those right directly next. So that's how I become mission critical for people. Think about it that way. How do you become mission critical to the business owners that you would like to work with as a done for you service provider? So that was number one. You want to make sure you solve an essential problem. Number two, make it simple to work with you. And I'm saying from start to finish. Everyone is stressed, and I mean that. I'm stressed some days thinking about like, how do I teach my boys right now when we're pretending like books are so offensive, when books are the easiest ways for you to learn history. So everyone is stressed. If your process is confusing, if getting to work with you or understanding what you do is confusing, people will ghost, which happened to me when I first started back in my business just now as a one-on-one coach. In November, when I announced it, all I got was people asking me to manage your podcast because it was confusing what I did. Then in December, I got a couple of clients, and then I started to like rework what I was doing, and it became not simple or easy to understand again. And now this version that I reworked, people are like, oh, okay. And now I'm getting discovery calls again. You got to make it easy. You've got to make your systems easy to understand and even easier to say yes to. So if someone wants to book a sales call with you, it should be so simple, like as simple as me thinking of your name. I say like, oh yeah, I remember so-and-so does social media management and I really need that right now because it's the biggest way I get leads. So let me just pop over to her Instagram. They pop over to your Instagram. They don't see anywhere to like book a call with you. They direct message you, don't hear back from you. They look at your content and they're like, is she still doing this? She hasn't posted in like 25 days, but she's a social media manager. I'm confused. And now they've moved on to the next girl. They're like, okay, such and such seems to not run her business anymore. Let me go on to this other girl. They go on to girl two. Girl two, she's got a link in her bio. Book a call. She's got a post from yesterday that talks about why social media managers will help you grow your business during this economy. And me as the person who needs the social media manager, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I also DM her and I say like, hey, I am thinking about like hiring a social media manager. I just booked a one-on-one call. Let me know if you think I would be a good fit as a client. Couple hours later, my girl DMs me back and says like, oh, I'm so excited to work with you, Fran. Here's like the services I'll talk you through on our sales call tomorrow. And I can't wait to hear more about like how I could work with your business. She is on it. She's ready. She's making it simple for me to hire her. You got to make it easy. That means you need clear onboarding, streamlined task management. So when they actually finally say yes on the sales call, they need to understand easily how to get things to you and how you manage their tasks that they're assigning to you. Regular check-ins. This doesn't mean you're having one-on-ones with them like you're at a real job anymore, but you're making sure they understand you're on top of everything and checking in regularly. And so this is just so they never feel in the dark. Okay. So that's number two. You want to make it really simple to work with you. Number three, send monthly reports like a boss. This is the one thing that when I like started doing this in the podcast, in the pod factory, really turned clients into stands. So this right here will change the game. Every single month, no matter what niche you are in, no matter how you support your clients, we need to find a reportable way to show them the value of you. Send your clients monthly updates. What's been done, what results you're seeing, and what's coming next. So keep all three of those things in mind when you're thinking about a report. Celebrate their wins when you send this report out and say like, hey, last month we posted 12 new reels. This reel performed the best and you were talking about X and you got X amount of sales calls booked from this one reel. Congratulations. So proud of you, girl. Easy. Show their progress and show your work and let them know you're right there with them. You want to let them know you are their partner throughout all of this, and you're not just there as their task doer. While I don't want you to overwork as their virtual assistant, when it comes to economic uncertainty, people need to feel validated in their business decisions and choices, because a lot of times a lot of us are solopreneurs. We're hiring contractors, done for you service providers, and we're doing our best to make sure we did the work up front to hire the right person, and we're not wasting money, and we're bringing in new revenue to make sure we can still support every single invoice that comes in from a service provider. And you as a service provider, as you start to grow and you hire other consultants or even employees, you will feel this way as well. So you want to make sure they know you're not just here just checking the box when they can get that from anywhere. You're here as their partner, and you're telling them, this is how we move your business forward no matter what's going on in this economy. Let's check in with some objections you might have about my 3 things that I feel make a winning business in economic downturns. And that was solving an essential problem, make it simple to work with you, and send monthly reports. So now I know some of y'all are thinking, but Fran, nobody's hiring right now, because you feel like the only way you can handle these objections, this winning business or create it, is to find a client. Listen, people are hiring. When I tell you I am in business community, I just went to a conference last weekend and people were looking for podcast management managers. It was a podcasting mamas event. And they were all looking for podcast managers, virtual assistants, people to help them build their funnels. They were looking for a gambit of people. I also ran into a girl who runs a bookkeeping service, which is not accounting. She runs a bookkeeping service as a done-for-you service provider, and she is booked out in her agency and has a wait list for clients who want to work with her on their bookkeeping. Okay? So they're hiring, they're just doing it very smart. So you have to solve a problem they can't afford to ignore. The bookkeeping, that's a big ass problem we can't afford to ignore right now. If you solve a problem they can't afford to ignore, you're not an expense. You're a necessity. You have become a necessary part of their business, a necessary part of keeping it alive and thriving during hard times. All right, let's wrap it up and put a bow on it as always. So let's run it back. You need to create a service that ties to revenue, not convenience. We can't keep saying I save you time. Yes, saving time does end up saving money, but they can't hear that right now. They can't hear that as a part of your sales. It does ultimately save them money, but they can't hear it. So make sure it's not just inconvenience in their minds. Make your process so simple to work with you and actually make it enjoyable. Then number 3, keep them in the loop in monthly updates that show your value. You got to keep showing them hey, we're doing the damn thing. Your business is surviving an economic downturn. And here's how I know. And you show them the biggest indicators. And if you're still in your head wondering if this is the right time to start a business, as someone who has seen multiple people start businesses during the pandemic that are still surviving, mine would have still survived if I didn't have postpartum depression. I know plenty of people who have podcast management agencies who now open podcasting studios who are doing great in this economy. It might actually be the perfect time for you. The world is shifting and there's room for you to step in and fill in the gap. Let's do some quick homework. Pull out your service menu or the item that you thought should be your niche at the beginning of this episode. Ask yourself, does this solve a real urgent problem or is it just cute? Circle the ones tied to revenue and start there. So anything you can help with in someone's business that ties directly back to revenue, circle that and start there. So if you're ready to step into becoming a done for you service provider and you're just kind of like, I hear you, friend. The call is coming from within and not without. And you need some help actually dialing this in and like making this come to life. These 3 things that I talked you through. I do offer one-on-one coaching for baby VAs for 3 months for $997. Yes, you heard me correctly. Just about $1,000 for just 3 months. Together, we do 3 calls per month, and you have unlimited access to like reach out to me and send me like things you're thinking through, things you're having problems with. I send you videos with feedback. I also will walk you through creating easy, simple processes. I'll walk you through creating like your monthly check-in version as well. But book a free sales call with me. The link will be in the show notes as I stated before. Until next time, I'll see you next week on Franly Advice. Bye.